The time is 6:30. I would like to call this regular Board of Education meeting to order. The first item on our agenda for this evening is the roll call for those Board of Education members who are present. Vice President Lee, would you perform the roll call, please?
Yes. Okay, Trustee Townsend.
Here.
Trustee Kennedy Sutton.
Here.
Trustee Espy.
Here.
Vice President Lee, I'm here. And President Hawkins.
I am here. We have 5 Board of Education members present and 2 who are absent. Next, that takes us to the Pledge of Allegiance. And at this time, I would like to invite members of the public, the Board of Education, and staff members to join us in reciting of the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, that takes us to the acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion at this time?
President Hawkins, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion?
Townsend, support.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to achievements, awards, and recognition. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Elena Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. Today, we are really pleased to have Ypsilanti Community High School do their Points of Pride led by their building administrator, the wonderful Dr. Chelsea Harris-Hugen. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, how about I turn it on? Okay, there we go. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We're gonna get started with I called them our bragging points, points of pride, the things that make YCHS special. And before we get started, I wanted to truly thank all of you for your support. And we'll turn it over to our rising leaders. And we'll start with, if our students want to come on up, that will be presenting. Teachers, you can stand behind them for moral support.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mohammed Yakubu. I am a freshman at YCHS. I am the first awarded professional student. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Freshman Academy. Recipients of MAEOs, which is Michigan Alternative Educational Organization. Outstanding Program, Comment of the Year for the professional students. Freshman Deal is a Tier 2 support program designed to provide targeted intervention for students who need to address academic gaps or extend their learning in math, reading, and writing.
Good evening. My name is Paris Cameron, and I am a 9th grade student at the high school. My high school experience has been good. I was a member of the varsity cheer team for football and basketball. I was one of the class representatives for 9th grade and also part of student council. I also am a part of choir and performed solos at our winter and spring concert.
That was on me. It wasn't technology, it was a problem.
Hi, how are you guys doing today? My name is Ima McMiller, and here's a little bit about our multilingual learner program. It's plotted with newcomer LED, double black, translation simulator, and as students after school tutoring programs, stops training series for teachers. And as you can see, there's a little bit of our languages that we have in the whole school combined. I'm pretty sure that's also including online and STEM. And here's a little bit of our pictures of a school with also our flags and our students and our teachers with us, with Dr. Hugan also teaching some of our multilingual students. Okay. I will also be presenting this slide. I'm a junior at YCHS, and I really like being here. It's a very great community. It really makes me feel like I'm at home. I am the CTE that I'm in is podcasting. I really like the CTE. It's very hands-on. You're not just in class looking at the wall. Mr. Cole back there is our podcast teacher. He's a really great teacher. He teaches everything about digital, and it also the digital goes into real life because you have to learn things about that stuff also. But here's a little bit about our CTE programs. YCHS culinary students is placed third in the world with the prestigious NASA Hunch Culinary Challenge. They were awarded 5,000 in scholarships. YCHS Automotive and Culinary Program sent the largest class in YCHS history to Skills USA, which is really wonderful. Culinary students placed silver in bakery, pastry arts, and bronze in skills and action skills at Skills USA. YCHS Drone and Aviation Spring Break Camp, all interested students attended the camp also. They learned about aviation mobility. Our manufacturing students have played a key role in beautifying the school, repairing classrooms, furniture, and assisting with organized spaces. YCHS, excuse me, YCHS auto production on the go with interviews at YCHS events. Thank you. Have a good one.
Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Good. So I'm gonna be talking about multilingual learner program today. At YCHS, we have a lot of different language speakers and a lot of different culture. And at YCHS, we have translation class program where students who speak fully English who can translate for non-English speakers and help them understand their homeworks and what they're supposed to do. And also, we have a new comer ELD class who is the teacher's Miss Lampe that I know of, and I'm sorry. And also, we have a lot of different language like Tigrinya, Amharic, and Arabic, Swahili, French, more. But yeah, there's a lot. Thank you.
Hello, I'm CJ. I joined robotics this year. Something I learned about robotics is it's fun, creative, and you get to learn a lot of new skills. There are amazing mentors such as Miss Woodman, Mr. Sunk, and Mr. Kim, who I think are sitting in the back. So you can raise your hand. Also, whenever you go to competitions, it's never dry. You can make new friends and meet lots of new people. Now I'm going to tell you about STEM and robotics. Grizzly Robotics students volunteered at several community events. You can see them on the board. And STEM students have had opportunities to attend STEM and EMC events. Grizzly Robotic Team 66 won first place at the Belleville FRC Districts event, qualifying them to attend states championships, where they performed well, finishing the season ranked 142 out of 526 teams. 10 STEM middle college fifth-year graduates on 6 associate degrees, 560.95 credits plus 0.5 credits, averaging 50.95 credits per student. For the first time, YCHS has 2 drone innovative vehicle design teams who will be competing in an event May 21st.
Hello, I am Michael Martinez. I participated in both the Cutting Ribbon event and family conference. Using mostly Unreal Engine 5, I created a terrain and landscape using AI generative features, creating my own world. Here's a little bit of more information about the AI Spotlight. YCHS became the first HPAA Spotlight school through our collaboration with Digital Promise. The AI Lab ribbon cutting ceremony was March 11th, 2025, and the first Families Conference was hosted on April 26th.
My name is Charity Hurt. I am the valedictorian of Ypsilanti Community High School. I have received a merit scholarship from Tuskegee University where I will be going into the chemical engineering field. During my time at Ypsilanti Community High School through the dual enrollment program, I will be receiving my associate's degree from Washington Community College this month. So thank you. Thank you. So Ypsilanti Community High School offers CTE and pathway programs. We have 10 automotive technology graduates, 8 career success skills graduates, 16 certified nursing assistant graduates, 9 collision repair graduates, 2 cosmetology graduates, 3 culinary arts and bakery science graduates, 1 D3C3 automotive services technician graduates, 1 D3C3 welding and fabrication graduate, 17 dual enroll graduates, 1 educator pathway graduates, 17 English language learner graduates, 12 manufacturing graduates, 4 radio podcasting and TV broadcasting technologists, 1 translation and interpretation services graduate, and 2 visual and performing arts graduates. Every senior applied to a college, trade school, or military. Every senior at Ypsi has a post-graduation pathway. Every senior applied to at least 2 scholarships, and there are 7 STEM/WCC associate degrees earned this year as well.
Hard to go after Charity. But good evening to the board, our superintendents, and guests. My name is Equata Brown. I'm the interim assistant principal at the high school. And to piggyback on all those great things that Charity just mentioned, we are excited to announce several new and expanded career and technical education pathways, including drone and aviation technology, botany, video gaming and animation, and the best leadership entrepreneurship program with the WISD. We're enhancing our cosmetology program and offering intro to CTE courses for our 9th and 10th graders. We're going to build engagement for our video gaming and animation program by creating an esports club in the fall. In the arts, we're going to launch a new music and theater CTE program, and we're going to culminate in the summer with a musical theater production. We're expanding our international baccalaureate offerings to include the middle years program, the career-related program, and the diploma program. And finally, we're bridging the gap with our middle school and high school by offering magnet camps this summer that will give our younger students hands-on experiences in culinary, automotive, and collision repair, and musical theater. These initiatives are not just programs, like our superintendent has constantly said. They are pathways to purpose, equity, and excellence, and we thank you for your support.
No, yeah, you want it. Sure. Good evening, everyone. How are you? So I'm Mr. Ryan Bowie. I am the choir teacher at Ypsilanti Community High School. And as a special treat for you all, we have one of our students here who's going to perform a little bit. So this is, I nicknamed her Superstar because before I started, everyone was telling me about this one student who had to be in choir. She didn't show up the first day, didn't show up the second day, but the third day she walked in, I said, "You're Charlene." She said, "Yes." And so it's been a ride ever since. So please give a warm welcome to Miss Charlene Page.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs. A lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I lived as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I lived as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of lead you to a lonely place, find your strength in love.
All right. Get together, girl, right? It's hard to come after that. Thank you, Charlene. Your voice is amazing. You continue to inspire. I love that we did the collaboration with the eighth graders, and that concert was amazing. I truly want to thank you, Mr. Bowie, and the music teacher from the middle school, and all of your efforts and everything that you do to make her sound like that. We heard you over here giving her the cues and coming in, and it's that work and that dedication that makes her be able to stand here and do that. So I thank you and thank you. Okay, I'm gonna get it together. All right. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to listen, to support the staff at Ypsilanti Community High School. Your encouragement means so much to us, and it plays such a critical role in our success on our programs and the future of YCHS. We're excited to share that Nehemiah was just awarded a track scholarship just a few hours ago.
Wow.
This is a true achievement that reflects the incredible potential of all of our students. We also have a small token to give to all of, thank you, to give to all of you with our appreciation, our sincere appreciation under the leadership and the vision of Dr. Zachary Ross and all of you. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wanted to be obedient to Julie telling me we had 8 to 10 minutes. We have so much more that we can share and brag about, but I wanted to just highlight some of the things and wonderful things that our students can do. And I hope that I did YCHS justice. I hope that we did YCHS justice. And for our students and our scholars, we'll take any questions that you may have for our students, myself, our administrators.
Thank you, Dr. Harris-Hugen. Before we move into questions from the board, I just would like to invite all of the scholars to step forward who just presented the points of pride. And our songstress, you too. I wanted to make sure that we didn't clap in between because I wanted to make sure you all were recognized separately and that you got your flowers right here in this board meeting. You exemplify excellence every day. I see the shirts. You are a walking embodiment of what excellent is, Ypsilanti Community High School scholars. We are so proud of you for your hard work, your commitment, your dedication. And I know none of this is possible without a great, outstanding group of people who are behind you. And those people are the educators in the building every day. And importantly, your families who support you, who pour into you, and make this possible. These are the hashtag moments right here. Ypsilanti Community High School scholars, we are so proud of you. And I want us all to stand to our feet to give these young people a round of applause. Keep rising, keep shining, scholars. The sky is not even the limit anymore. You can go above and beyond and do anything you put your minds to. Board members, do you have any questions or comments?
My only comment is congratulations. I am the only person on the board that is an Ypsilanti High School graduate and scholar. And so I say that with pride, over 30 plus years ago. And you are at a pivotal moment where you will be making decisions that will affect the rest of your lives. And I hope one of those decisions is that you always come back and serve. We need our alumni to keep the legacy going. I was made a Brave, but I'm living as a Grizzly. So please make sure that you all continue to serve your communities. We are very proud of you, and we know that you all are going to do great things. And please know that Ypsilanti is here to back you up all day. Thank you.
I just want to offer a comment of saying, like, wow, You all are so impressive. I know that just showing up every day can be hard. And so to see you all here and to hear you talk about all the additional things you're doing during your days, whether it's robotics or choir or podcasting or all culinary, all of the different things that you do, it's just amazing. And the dedication you have to it, that means that you want to be there. And I can see that in you, and I can see the way you show up in here. So thank you. And I'm so excited to be a supporter of your journeys over the next few years. And as you go on to university, still we are a supporter of you. We don't go anywhere. We are still here for you, and I hope that you can come back to us, as Trustee Townsend has said. So thank you again, and we are just I am just so grateful for what you all do and deeply impressed.
I didn't graduate from IPSI, I graduated from that other school. Okay. But dang, make me want to go back to school and graduate again. IPSI got it going on. I'm so proud of y'all. And I love y'all so much. Keep doing the thing, y'all. I love y'all. Woo, I'm so proud of y'all.
I'll just say ditto to everything that everyone said. Great job. Thank you for presenting. I applaud your courage and continue doing what you're doing.
If there are parents in the room that are here, if you could stand up to be recognized. And last and certainly not least, could all of the Ypsilanti Community High School staff members please stand up to be recognized? Thank you again, Dr. Harris-Hugen, for your leadership, for carrying out the vision. And again, scholars, continue to exemplify excellence every single day. Thank you so much, and we are so incredibly proud of you. We wish you all well. Mr. Alvarado.
And just one more announcement. This is my shameful plug in for the 2025 Grizzly Awards. I was granted permission to make this announcement now. So I would like to formally to invite all of our board members. We started doing the Grizzly Awards in 2016. However, this is our 8th time. We took a 2-year pause during COVID. So this is our 8th time, and I believe Dr. Hawkins has been to the first 6 of them.
Yes.
So yes, and it was very unfortunate she missed last year because I was going to give her a special award. She made every single one of them. But it was so close. But we thank you, and we hope that you can make it this year.
Yes.
As obvious, good time. And the theme this year is Circus, the Greatest Show on Earth, YCS. So thank you. Oh, it'll be May 29th, and I just wanted to do this informally because a formal invitation will go out, but I didn't want to send it out until after I made this announcement. So it'll be coming from Julie for the board members about the Grizzly Award. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarado. I'll be there. Oh, thank you.
And our students are going to be making a lot of the props for the Grizzly Awards, as well as all of the nominees' gift that they're going to get. So, and then we're going to also have a combined choir that is going to be singing to our retirees at the show. It's going to be a great one. Thank you.
Thank you.
What was it now? Can't get this bow on. Oh. Oh, I like them. Mhm.
All right. Thank you for your patience as we allow for that quick transition. Next, that takes us to the adoption of the resolution for staff appreciation. And I will turn this back over to Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. We're just so pleased today to be able to share a resolution, resolution of staff appreciation, school principal day, Monday, May 1st, 2025, Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, May 5th through the 9th, 2025, School Lunch Hero Day, Friday, May 2nd, 2025, and School Nurse Day, May 7th, 2025. And the resolution reads, whereas, number one, the Ypsilanti Community Schools, principals, teachers, staff, school lunch staff, school nurses continue to change the lives of children every day. Their immense work and impact moves us beyond words. And two, the YCS principals, teachers, staff, school lunch staff, school nurses have done even more to continue education with in-person learning and continuous virtual classrooms, all to ensure every student has the tools they need to reach their full potential. And YCS administrators, teachers, staff, school lunch staff, school nurses fill many roles as listeners, explorers, role models, motivators, and mentors. And YCS administrators, teachers, staff, school lunch staff, school nurses continue to influence us long after our school days are only memories. And the administrators, teachers, school staff, school lunch staff, and school nurses of Ypsilanti Community Schools spend countless hours preparing lessons, supporting and guiding staff, preparing healthy meals, evaluating progress, counseling, and coaching students, and performing community service. And our school district recognizes and supports its administrators, teachers, staff, school lunch staff, school nurses in educating the children of this great learning community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Ypsilanti Community Schools Board of Education proclaims May 1st, 2025 School Principal Day, May 5th through 9th, 2025 Teacher Staff Appreciation Week, May 2nd, 2025 the School Lunch Hero Day, and May 7th, 2025 to be School Nurse Day. And be it further resolved that the Ypsilanti Community Schools Board of Education strongly encourages all members of our community to join in personally expressing appreciation to our principals, teachers, staff, school lunch staff, and school nurses for their dedication and devotion to their work.
Thank you, Dr. Zachary Ross, for reading this resolution of staff appreciation. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Espy, a motion to support the, okay. Okay, my apologies. I move that the Board of Education adopt the resolution of recognition proclaiming May 1st, 2025 to be School Principal Administrator Day, May 5th through 9th, 2025 to be Teacher Staff Appreciation Week, May 2nd, 2025 to be School Lunch Hero Day, and May 7th, 2025 to be School Nurse Day.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Espy. Is there support for this motion?
Support trustee Sutton Kennedy.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Sutton Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the recognition of our 2025, 2024, 2025 Seal of Biliteracy recipients. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Zachary Ross to introduce this important award.
Thank you, Madam President. We are just so honored today to recognize the scholars who will receive the Seal of Biliteracy this year. And we have with us Liz Sermon and Ms. Green here, Celeste Green, who will, our multilingual coordinator, and they will be sharing the names and of the scholars.
Yes, good evening, Board. We are so excited about this year's Seal of Biliteracy recipients. And if you don't know, the Seal of Biliteracy is the one and only award that the Michigan Department of Education awards to graduating seniors. And it is a certificate that validates and verifies that a student is bilingual and has an intermediate high level of proficiency in English and at least one other language. So we are so excited to be able to call the names of the people who have earned the Seal of Biliteracy.
And hi, I'm Liz Sermon. I haven't met a few of you, so it's nice to see you all. This is what the Seal of Biliteracy looks like. They will get a certificate. They get a couple of letters from MDE introducing, and saying thanks so much for your hard work and whatnot. And then we will give them this beautiful little seal that goes right on their diploma. So it's really a nice honorary for them. So we honor the students for being bilingual, but I will say at least 5 of these students are at least trilingual. So it's amazing to think of what they've accomplished. So we have Asma Abubakar in Arabic and Somali, Ahmed Aladani, Arabic, Wilmer Andino Aguilar, Spanish, Yaroslin Baltodano Montenegro, Spanish, Denzel Batista Almanza, Spanish, Lamine Camara, French, Virmari Camelo Kanzler, Spanish, Dilcia Cardona Palacios, Spanish, Nancy Castro Hernandez, Spanish, Mahmoud Sharif, French, Arvin Chiwichon Quiche, Spanish, Gabriel Cruz Garcia, Spanish, Kimberly Elbir Cruz, Spanish, Sergio Alejandro Erraza Moreno, Spanish, Pamela Larreinaga Martinez, Spanish, Olvin Martinez, Spanish, Gerson Moreno Funes, Spanish, Susette Raquel Necuse Avila, Spanish, Eber Ortiz Perdomo, Spanish, Marvin Ovalle Cabrera, Spanish, Wendy Palma, Spanish, Ivana Pedro Orellana, Spanish, Ever Josue Ramirez Martinez, Spanish, Miguel Freddy Raimundo Marcos, Spanish, Ana Patricia Sanchez Lopez, Spanish, Roberto Saravia Aguilar, Spanish, Emilio Varela Gomez, Spanish, Aisha Yara, French, and Luis Zuniga Meras, Spanish. Thank you.
Thank you so much for reading the names of these recipients, scholars who are being awarded the Seal of Biliteracy. Let's give all of these scholars a round of applause. Next, that takes us to our first action item for this evening under Student Affairs, and that is the acceptance of a field trip to Cedar Point. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Vice President Lee move that the Board of Education approve the field trip for YCHS to Cedar Point on May 16, 2025.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion?
Support Trustee Townsend.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Townsend. Any questions or discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the acceptance of another field trip to Cedar Point. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend moved that the Board of Education approve the field trip for ACE to Cedar Point on May 19, 2025.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Support Trustee Sutton Kennedy.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Sutton Kennedy. Any discussion, questions on this item? See none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to another field trip request for our Ypsilanti Community High School Band. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Sutton Kennedy moved that the Board of Education approve the week-long field trip of the Ypsilanti Community High School Marching Band Program, August 4th through 9th, 2025, to learn the 2025 Marching Band Show.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Sutton Kennedy. Is there support for this motion?
I support Trustee Espy.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Espy. Any discussion on this item or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the approval for our annual instructional materials and contract renewals. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend, move that the Board of Education approve the following. One, Spanish for Kids quote for a purchase amount of $237,920. Two, HMH Performance Suite into Reading K through 3-year quote for a purchase of $400,588.58. Three, HMH Performance Suite into Reading 4-5, 3-year quote for a purchase amount of $154,601.06. Four, HMH is it supposed to be intro? Into, okay, just making sure. Into Literature Writable Performance Suite 6-8, 3-year contract quote for a purchase amount of $103,500.26. Five, HMH into Literature 9-12, writable 3-year quote for a purchase amount of $64,761.82. Six, HMH Read 180, 6-8, 3-year quote for the purchase amount $169,880.89. Seven, HMH Professional Learning K-8 quote for the purchase amount of $38,200. And eight, Pediatric Therapy Associates LLC quote for $33,396.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Support trustee Sutton Kennedy.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Sutton Kennedy. While we know these are annual renewals and approvals that are coming before the board for consideration, are there any questions on this contract or these contracts?
Yes, please.
Vice President Lee?
Are these additional material or the same material, just renewing?
Yes, these are the renewals for the math curriculum, Spanish, and I think that's it.
The last time we adopted the HMH 6 years back,
Mhm.
so that they already the second revision, so they will not, those just don't exist anymore. So now we are getting a 3-year contract basically with this. So we were able to get everything in synced because we have purchased some other materials. So everything is really joined. This is like the most cost effective. The first one for, as you can see, the $400,000, that's coming directly out of a math grant that we have here. And so that'll cover that first part. The other part we will have to cover in the district. The $38,000 is through Title II. So we kind of managed it, but that's a 3-year contract to give us a real good deal. And that includes the whole suite of HMH. Okay.
Okay, so for the Spanish part, it's not for the Spanish immersion.
No,
No,
that covers the entire, because we committed, remember when we did the proposal for the whole district and we're offering Spanish to everybody. So that covers Spanish from 2nd grade all the way to 5th grade for every other school, including the IB programs.
Okay,
Okay. And so that covers that.
okay,
Okay. And
Thank
it's
you.
identical to last year's contract. We didn't increase it.
okay.
Any other board questions? Trustee Sutton Kennedy and then trustee Townsend, did you have your hand up?
Yes.
Okay.
My question is about the new dyslexia reading law, and just to confirm that these will be in alignment with that, if this is a 3-year.
Totally. We have a mirror that comes through and that suite is identical. It's one of the number one component of that. We're also, and I'm glad you talk about this because we're keeping our eyes, we're working with HMH and we're keeping our eyes for 35M and 35N that allow us to bring more dollars for literacy. And so in essence, hopefully, because it's supposed to be coming, we're going to be one of the first to submit it in July. And so we should be able to have that for the fall as well. And it's all about dyslexia, so that funding will be valuable.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
for
raising that
confirming.
question.
For the pediatric therapy associates, is this to cover compensatory hours?
It's for special ed?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's the compensatory time that we owe the students in the district.
Oh.
They worked hard to identify all the students who need to have those made up. And the summer goes really well because we study the patterns and we find that having that opportunity in the summer allows the kids to be ready so they don't lose the summer loss. And so it really works to an advantage for us, well, for the students.
Okay.
Any other board questions or comments? Thank you, Dr. Lopez. So a motion was made by trustee Townsend, supported by trustee Sutton Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our presentation for this evening regarding staffing projections and talent management. I will turn it over to Dr. Zachary Ross to introduce Ms. Sue McCarty.
Thank you, Madam President. Each year, the board receives a projection of what we will need, what type of staffing we're looking for the fall, as well as hearing from Ms. McCarty about our trends. So thank you, Ms. McCarty, for your presentation today.
Thank you, and good evening, Board.
Good
Madam
evening.
President, Superintendent Zachary Ross, members of the board. It's that time for that annual review of what our staffing projections. As you know, talent management's been working through the college circuit to recruit staff, as well as using Frontline. Our administrators are hard interviewing for those individuals who are retiring, as well as some openings that we've had throughout the year. So this is what we do. We gather student data and staff data to see where are our needs. In negotiations this year, we changed third grade from 32 to a class to 30 for a class to help with that reading piece. And then we project out, and here we are right here, planning so that if you approve this proposal as we're going through, then we'll present that to Damian Butler in finance and make sure that we have the the money to support the FTEs that we are projecting. So where do we get the data? So the student counts are from PowerSchool, and I work with Clark to do a point in time of April 16th. So the student counts and everything that we base this presentation on are from April 16th of this year. And then send out word to the building administrators, talk to them. What do you need? What do you see what your needs are? Where can we cut? Where can we increase? What exactly is the building needs? And then from that, we look at what did we have last year and what do we need to do going forward? So as previously, we look, students are first. We have to make sure we meet the needs of the students. We look at IEPs, we look at the increase in MLL students, we look at Title I, behavior specialists. We look at the new requirements for certification. They seem to be changing certification on a daily basis. They now have the new grade bands, they have new things for permits for substitute teachers, those kind of things. We take that all into consideration. And then the staff to student ratio, and as I mentioned, that 32 to 30 for third grade. And we look at the partnership agreements that we have in the different buildings for meeting the needs of getting scholars, academics increased. And then we look at the budget. And so then individually, looking at Beatty, their enrollment remains steady at 119. We need, we need 7 lead teachers here in this because we have the early Head Start now. And early Head Start requires 2 leads per class. And so it's a 16 to 2 staff ratio. So we're projecting that we will still need 21. And the 0.15s, those look strange. There's no 0.15 of any individual, but we share services. So psychologists, associates, nurses are shared. And then looking at Ford, they are going to have the Spanish immersion program as well as being a STEAM school. So we're projecting that their needs will be at 46.65 based on the contract requirements as well as the needs for the new Spanish immersion that's going to come through there. For Perry had a significant increase in enrollment this year, so we're looking at a few more FTEs for them. Perry increased enrollment by 25 plus students. So we're looking to make sure that we make ratio as far as the early childhood special education needs as well as the Head Start GSRP. And if you look in that intervention column, those are the shared services, and I should have mentioned that across all of the buildings, you're gonna have either full FTEs in these areas where needed or shared services. Looking at Erickson remains stable in enrollment this year. So we're looking for, can't see that right. 33.51 FTE for them based on contractual needs and the programs that they have at their building, being a Leader in Me program. Estherbrook also had a significant increase in enrollment this year, well over 30 students. And they're going to have a 4th grade Spanish immersion, as I'm sure the team will talk to you about. We're really excited about that. And we have hired staff from Mexico. That recruitment trip that was paid by the IAG did bring fruit. So far, we got 2 of them in the process. It's a process to get those visas and to get everybody set and to get them Michigan certified. They're certified in Mexico, but state of Michigan doesn't always agree. And so as we go through, we're hoping to get more of the teachers that we recruited, but so far 2 have been vetted as far as having proper credentials. And then looking at Holmes, Holmes is now a STEAM school. I'm excited to say that we've been able to hire 8 new staff already for Holmes this year based on recruitment, administrator, diligence and interviewing and then accepting offers. We've had several teachers coming from out of state like Texas. Seems like there's a lot of teachers coming from Texas this year. WISE enrollment has remained stable. We haven't added any new programs to WISE, so they're going to remain at 37.45. YC2S, as you know, the ratios on here they can't really match to the contract because it's the online school and they have to have those content teachers. So they have to have the contents as well as the K-8. And they too share services over in the intervention column. Looking at YCMS, their enrollment has remained steady as well. It increased. We're expecting some increases, in the next school year. So we're looking for 51.5 FTE for that building. ACE has also remained steady. We do have a big AVA program there, and we need, once again, those content areas because of the secondary classes. And I put out a proposal out there for their own counselor. Right now, Ms. Emerson and Ms. Nunez from middle school are supporting ACE. So I think we're going to get their own counselor this year. YCHS, as you guys have been seeing, they're just booming. So they're looking at over 70.1 FTE, with all of the programs, CNA, CTE, all of those programs that are out there. We have those specialty teachers, really great teachers in those areas as the students showed you today. So we are now looking at a total professional staff. That means anybody covered under the Ypsilanti Education Association contract. So teachers, instructional coaches, SLPs, OTs, PTs, that type of staff. We have 444.96 FTE projected for 25-26. So in summary, we want a culture where belonging meets the needs of the scholars, and that we deliver that high quality instruction and support our high quality professionals. We collaborate with the building administrators. We identify student needs, and it's a moving target on an annual basis, but we just keep going forward. Like we have all of the new, like cosmetology and all of those things that are coming up at the high school, as well as AI. So this presentation is designed to communicate those needs and to show you how we get them, how they relate to the contract. And then also I'll identify some of the wants as far as the buildings. They're looking for some additional assistance as far as mental and behavioral help, as well as being fully staffed. That would be just beautiful. And we're on our way. I have 8 hires at Holmes and about 4 or 5 hires at the other buildings already for 25, 26. So that's looking good. Some identified needs, as you know, we've had a shortage of special education team, like teachers, social workers, SLPs, and OTPTs. We've worked with the ISD. They've given us 5 that we share through their program. And already we've hired, which I'm really excited about, is 1 resource and 1 teacher consultant for the high school. They're coming from out of state, but they're coming and they have Michigan credentials. We're looking to have at least a few more 31A social workers, as well as we would like, if it's possible in the budget, social workers that are multi-language learners to support that program. And then we're still looking for some more Spanish immersion teachers, as some of our Spanish immersion teachers are moving out of state. And we will need a couple more Spanish immersion teachers. And then general education teachers, it's not like across the board, not every teacher, but some grade levels at each building, where we have teachers moving into different roles within the district, as well as some are leaving the district this year per the staffing intent that we sent out. We have about, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, like about 8 resignations this year and a few retirees. Not a lot of retirees this year. I was kind of surprised. There's just a few.
Thank you, Ms. McCarty. Board members, do you have any questions?
In regards to Beatty, where we
Yes.
see zeros in special education, coaches, psych, what is the reason why those are at 0?
Because currently there's no one in those roles, so we're working to hire them. So I'm showing you current staff, not exactly everything we need. I know this is a needs-based presentation. I was looking at that as well. I don't think that was on my original presentation, so I'm gonna propose to update that slide.
I'm curious, as you are looking at this, one of the things I can think upcoming in our agenda is talking about the Spanish immersion program. And I'm curious how that has an impact on the staffing, as right now they're spread out at different individual schools. And how might that impact what shows up kind of moving forward if the Spanish immersion program were to be all in one building?
I think, well, just my thoughts, and this is just my thoughts. So I think they'll have better ability to collaborate because they'll be all in one location. Right now, they're spread out by the grade bands that we have in the district. And I think that they're trying to find common times to plan and probably working through email and a lot of communications is that. So I perceive that might be very beneficial for them in terms of collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was looking in terms of like the way that they're projected in here is at individual schools.
Yes.
But obviously that would look different if we were to move the Spanish immersion program, say from Ford to the 510 Emmerich. Correct?
Could you clarify? Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alina.
I'm sure it's more clear.
So right now, what you see is how they are spread out, because obviously it's the board's determination. And we're adding, what you see is the addition of the 4th grade, because we add a grade as they matriculate. And so that's placed in here if if they were to move to a building, the difference would be there would have to be an administrator there. And we would, just like you see the support staff splitting buildings, they would go to different, because they currently still already have classes in specials. So they would receive their specials. We don't anticipate needing to add specials at this time. And so the additional staff would be like the principal and a secretary. And if we needed, there's already a custodian in the building, so that would just expand that.
Thank you. I
Great,
appreciate
thanks
that.
for that.
Sorry about that.
Trustee Sutton Kennedy.
I just wanted to confirm which columns on here were current numbers versus projected numbers. So the first column says current student enrollment. So that one shows 2024 numbers, and then the second one is the projected student enrollment for 2025, 26 school year. And then those next three, so for the CBA teacher student FTE max, is that current numbers or 25, 26
The
numbers?
CBA is the collective bargaining agreement, so that's just the number max in per class. So you see the number of
Okay, number of
max,
students.
and then how many right now teachers, full-time people are in each,
Okay, thank
based
you.
off of the collective bargaining agreement.
And then for the interventions, following trustee Townsend's question, that is current numbers for how many staff we have supporting those different areas?
Correct. And some of them, those will definitely change based off of the number of students with IEPs in each one of the buildings next year. So depending on who goes to which program.
Thank you.
Other board questions?
Did you say that board had an increase in students?
Board stayed stable. Perry and Estherbrook had significant increases.
How many student increased at Perry, please?
25 at that point in time on April 16th,
Okay. And 30 for Estherbrook.
33 for
33.
Estherbrook.
All right.
I have one more question.
Go ahead, trustee Townsend.
So when looking at ACE's numbers, I see currently we have 273 students. We have an FTE. What is it, 21? Well, it's significantly low. When I look at, say, Holmes, who has a lower FTE, a lower amount, but they have a much higher FTE. So I'm just trying to understand, the significance and the differences and why, if you're dealing with the same amount of students.
Yes, secondary, you have to have credentials in particular areas per class. So whatever classes we're offering, we have to align that to a staff member. So across our secondary, you're going to see that significance. So if we have, for example, algebra, we have to have someone certified in math to teach 9-12 in that area. We also have students a lot of new multilingual students. So we have staff attached to those students. So based off of what each student and what needs they have for their credit, we'll have to have a person certified. So especially in the sciences, those are very specific certification. So for ACE, you'll see that in order to offer the courses.
Okay. When I'm looking at numbers, it just looks like we have a high number of students per teacher. And so I'm just making sure I understand.
At ACE?
Yeah, I'm just, when I'm comparing numbers, I just want to make sure that
You're looking
I'm
at apples and
understanding,
apples?
yeah, apples to apples when we talk about student count per teacher.
I think that the student count here is deceiving. This is what I told Clark too. It looks but kind of bizarre. Because you have two contents per math. 2 FTEs, excuse me, per math. 2 for ELA, 2 for science, 2 for social studies, but you also have the AVA program. And then these FTEs over here are for the specials. So you have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 in ACE. And the classes are remaining and below that 16 count right now.
Okay.
And they have to anyway. It's CBA, agreed. So if in the future they needed more FTE, then we would come back and say, we need some more FTE here at ACE.
Okay, but that's 16 per class.
Correct.
Okay.
Just to follow the CBA.
Collective bargaining.
Yep.
Okay.
Collective bargaining agreement. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other board questions? Thank you, Ms. McCarty.
Thank you.
Next, that takes us to our second presentation this evening, which is on our Spanish immersion program. Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. We presented at the board workshop information about the dual immersion Spanish program, and many of the board members had not received information about what's happening in the program, how the students are progressing, and had inquiry. The multilingual team, who is coming up, has been asking to present to the board, and we're chomping at the bit. And so we asked them and provided them an opportunity to share what is actually currently happening in the program. As we know, there's been a growth in that area and significantly, and so they would like to share the findings from when the inception of the dual immersion program. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, I am, as most of you know, I'm Celeste Green, and I'm part of this wonderful YCS language team. And so the first thing I want to do is give a moment of gratitude to thank this board and the administration for the support, and most importantly, the trust that you gave to this team to envision and to build something that was bold and something that was much needed. We didn't know how much it was needed, but now we know. And so in 2021, we came before this board with an idea, with a vision about a dual language Spanish immersion program. And we came with that vision, and we believed in it so deeply. And with just 18 students, one kindergarten class, we began to, and we also had an unshakable belief in the power of bilingualism, the power of innovative programming, and then we launched the program. And of course, with the support and the trust that you all placed in us. And right now, it is thriving, it's transformative, and it is reaching not only across our district, but we're bringing families in beyond the district as well. And so where we started with just one kindergarten classroom, now we have kindergarten through third grade, adding a fourth grade next year. And we had so much interest last year that we added a second kindergarten classroom. And right now, looking at the signups and the registrations, we are on track to even have more students registered this year than we did last year. So that's a good problem to have, right? And so what the scholars are doing really is what people thought was impossible, that we would have our scholars, our students reading, writing, and speaking effortlessly in Spanish, and that they are just like that slide right there says, unleashing their brilliance. So I wanted to thank you all for that trust, for sure.
Righty. So I'm Marianne Yeager, and I'm one of those people that don't know how to retire either. Because here I stand in my second district after so many years. And I guess it was about, over 4 years ago when we came to you all with this crazy idea. And we were just like, hey, it's worth it. And you trusted us. And it was that trust that took us so far. Because when you are trusted, you work even harder. And that is what has been driving us all this time. And like Celeste was saying, when we got that second kindergarten, we said, success, it's happening. It's not gonna go away, right? And so we were tasked with that vision. And we've been working hard to make sure it's happening. You know, this is a global economy. We know that our students, if they are going to want to be marketable and pick their jobs, if they have more than one language, the door opens for them. My first teaching job, it was because of Spanish. And things don't change, you know? They also not only will get probably the job of their dreams, but they will have a better understanding. And this is something we can't put a price tag on, a global understanding, especially in today's world. This is a critical thing. And we're going to unlock their brilliance, their true potential. We're seeing it right there. When I invite you, come and take a look because it is a lot of fun. But we're also through this addressing the very real factor that our K through 12 traditional population, kids population in Michigan is shrinking. And so this is the way to bring back our students back into our district, anybody who's left and anybody who's thinking of coming.
Again, I'm Liz Sermon. I'm the multilingual programming coordinator for Ipsy Schools. And as Marianne was saying, that the population has been declining, our enrollments have been declining. Even before COVID, enrollment was going down in many districts. And there's more homeschooling, students attending charters, declining population in the state overall, and more. So for this reason, YCS must be innovative and make bold moves, which is what we have done with this immersion program. And thus we are bringing in proven programs that provide proven results.
So we know that being bilingual and bicultural is a superpower, and we're seeing that so clearly in our scholars. And the U.S. Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, was talking about how bilingualism is your superpower. And the goal of YCS is that every scholar in YCS graduates proficient in Spanish. So we're making those moves to make those bold moves to make sure that that promise is kept, that we're trying to have everyone become proficient in Spanish. So we have to take those bold steps to make that global impact.
So only 5.6% of the world speaks English as a primary language. As immigrants have arrived here, we now have over 400 languages spoken across the United States. In YCS, we have 29 languages represented across the schools by both students and staff. In the last couple of years, we have received large numbers of newly arrived immigrant students. In fact, since 2020, we have increased our population of multilingual learners from 336 to 633, kind of a fun number switch there. This year alone, the district enrolled 184 new multilingual students, which is an additional $1.7 million for the district. This trend will likely continue as we are still enrolling new students weekly. As a district and country, we must embrace multilingualism in the same way that other countries around the world do.
All right, I believe it was a late Friday afternoon, and we were all in our language meeting together, and all of a sudden, Dr. Lopez says, look at this email, look at this email. And there it was from Manzanitas. Now, this one is close to my heart because I've got 4 grandbabies over there at Manzanitas. It's a Spanish immersion preschool between Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor, and it reached out to us. Even though we've had a handful of Manzanitas kids come our way, they said, we want to partner with you. We want to make sure that now we have a place for our babies to go once they leave us. And we had a meeting with them, and everybody was excited, and we shared with them that even though there are 2 immersion programs in the county of Washtenaw, we love our Lincoln peeps. You hear that, Solomon? I know you work at both places, but they're not quite as blessed as we are because we are blessed with this huge Hispanic population. So that means that our kids, we try really hard to have 50% native English speaking, 50% native Spanish speaking, and then the kids can do that peer interaction and talk because we know how children learn from each other. They don't just learn from us now, they learn from each other quite a bit. And that is what makes us so special. We are a true dual language, one of the few in the state of Michigan. It's pretty cool.
Okay, so Marianne touched on this just now. So we've been talking about this program, and I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with what dual language Spanish immersion is. It's a mouthful, but we say dual language, and we do say Spanish immersion, but really it's dual language Spanish immersion because just as Marianne just said, having dual language means you're having half of those students that are native Spanish speakers, half that are native English speakers. So they're learning not just with that one language model from the teacher, but from students in the classroom as well. So when you look at the slide there, the first thing I want to say about dual language Spanish immersion is that it is research-based. It's not just a cute little program. No, they're going to learn some words in Spanish. No, this is a research-based program that where research shows that it is the best program for boosting academic competency. That's one thing. Of course, you're bilingual when you come out, but we want more than that, right? We want them to be to boost their competence. So it's a research-based program that fosters language acquisition through social interaction and content. So then on the second bullet point, we talk about English speakers and native Spanish speakers are enrolled in the same classroom. Well, that happens all over the place, right? Where you have English and Spanish speakers in the same classroom. But this is intentional, where we go through the list and make sure we have what we dream to be. Usually it is about half native Spanish speakers, native English speakers, so that not only, like Marianne said, are they learning content from the teacher and getting that language model, but they're also getting that language model from each other and interacting and having that social context. And we all know that you learn just as much, it solidifies your learning when you can collaborate and you're speaking to each other, whether it's in English or Spanish. So we have the research base. So we know that it is something that is a solid, amazing program for anyone, really. I mean, there are very few that there may not be the right fit, but for the most part, it's a very good program for anyone. It is English and Spanish speakers in the same classroom. The English increases throughout the years. You start out with 90% of the instruction in Spanish, and we'll get to that to break that down. And then the English increases as the years go on. So the goal is, of course, to be bilingual, of course, to have competency in another language, but even more so, academic competency. So it's the rigor, and it's the challenge, and it's the bilingualism. So it's all of that. And if you see the picture there, that is a picture of one of the principals. Kier's daughter is there reading confidently, I may say, in Spanish. And we'll see a little bit more of that a little bit later on.
So as both Marianne and Celeste stated, we have our classroom makeup of 25 students. We try for about half and half English and native Spanish speakers. YCS offers options to families, and this is an amazing option to many of our families who come in as Spanish speakers. Their children are already building literacy in Spanish. And so to put them in this program to continue that growth while they are learning and strengthening their English is a fantastic placement for them. So having our combination of English and Spanish speakers and then bilingual certified teachers and paraprofessionals offering strong content just makes it a great placement for the students.
Yes, this is what I was just speaking about. So that slide there really speaks to what the program looks like throughout the elementary years. So as you can see there, that first bar is kindergarten. 90% of the academic instruction, 90% of the day is in Spanish, 10% in English. First grade, 80-20, and it increases, the English increases and the Spanish decreases over time, so that by fifth grade, fourth and fifth grade, it's 50-50. And so when you look at that kindergarten, let's start with kindergarten, and you have 90% of the day in Spanish. And that means everybody in that classroom is learning to read in Spanish. And that 10% is, so when you're learning a concept, let's say in science, that 10% is like an English language development block where we make sure that the Spanish speakers, that they are understanding the concept that was, and we're developing their English, and then the English speakers who've heard all of this in Spanish, that they have grasped whatever concept it is that we worked on. So when you see that, they're like, oh, wow, they're learning how to read in Spanish? How's that work? Don't they have to learn how to read in English? Well, one thing that you need to know is that you really only need to learn to read one time. So once you learn how to read, you can read in any language. Of course, there are going to be some sounds that are different. There's going to be some things that we have to specifically target to make sure, but those skills transfer from one to another. An example is if I decided tomorrow, which I probably won't, but if I decided tomorrow I wanted to learn how to speak German fluently, then would I need to go back and learn to read in order to read in German? I wouldn't. I already know how to read, so then I would transfer those skills to whatever language I'm learning. So, and then by the time we get to 4th and 5th grade and it's 50-50, there are certain content areas. So maybe math in Spanish and social studies in English, and we divide it up that way by subject matter. So that is what it looks like through the years in terms of the language that the students are exposed to. Okay. And so we've been talking about the program, but we want you to just take a quick glimpse into the classroom. And so we have a little video, and I want you to keep in mind that the students here they did not know a word of Spanish walking into that classroom in August. And they were wide-eyed, and so I think you'll see for yourself how effortlessly and fluid they are in the classroom.
Get a teacher. There is a whole protocol that we've been following, and we are serious about it. There is mentor support, there is coaching support. We have, through the blessing of Dr. Lopez, we've adopted an incredibly rigorous program. It's called American Reading Company. We call it ARC. We're trained 5 to 6 times a year, and this is critical because we want keep people up to snuff. And they come right here, and they are serious trainers. When one teacher like opened up that laptop, she thought, it's down. They don't play. And after a while, the teachers like really begin to buy into this and realize it's the best thing they've seen yet. And it's all, of course, in Spanish. But we also, through the grants that have been written here, we have that Grow Your Own. So we have a number of bilingual paras. I don't even know how Sue can keep up with how many keep coming to us because the word is out, right? You get in that word, it's about networking, and they're like, if you go work for YCS and you already have a degree, they will help you get your teaching certs. The word is out in the community and it's like magical. And so when we have an opening, we fill it. Actually, last week, we took one of our new folks and she's working with special needs kids till we have an opening in the fall. And that helped out, Estabrook with a need there. It's pretty cool. I mean, we send home, which we all should do, sending home information, communication in multiple languages. We have a very collaborative team. We meet regularly, like at about 11 o'clock at night, usually, I don't know, on the telephone. And then we've got these cool partnerships. I mean, we've got Wayne State, we've got U of M, we've got Concordia, but magical EMU. Oh my goodness. Okay. So they now can get their certs over at EMU. We've got 2 principals in that program getting their EL certs. Like I used to be a principal. I'm like, I don't know how they're squeezing it in, but they're doing it. It's very impressive, But the idea with all these pieces in place, that is how we sustain and continue to grow. Okay. All right. Very good. All right.
There we go. brilliance that is in that classroom and how we would not have seen that they could do this if it weren't for a program like this.
Okay, for the 25-26 academic year, we have challenges that make having one building for Spanish immersion imperative. Because YCS has their pre-K through first program at Ford and 2 through 5 at Estabrook, the students are spread through the 2 buildings with 2 different schedules and 2 administrators. We do have families that have students in the program and they're starting from kindergarten and they have siblings in third. Additionally, the consistency and vertical alignment is challenging with the teachers not able to regularly meet, collaborate, and build continuity and cohesiveness. So with the increasing interest in the program and growing numbers, our concrete plans for 25-26 are to have 2 kindergarten classrooms, 2 first grade, 1 second, 1 third, and then the 4th grade classroom, which we had been planning, per the 5-year plan that was specified a while back.
Okay, imagine this. We are 78,000 kids down since 2023 in traditional public education. That's a bunch of kiddos. A lot of reasons. We have homeschool, we have school of choice, we've got many more charters, but we're not alone. I mean, between 2019, 2021, our friends over there in Ann Arbor, they lost 1,000 students between those 2 years. So this is a problem everywhere in our state of Michigan. A good number of the kids that we did, however, lose went to charters. And that's something that we, take to heart, especially as, one of our biggest competitors, he was a dad at my school back in the day, bless his heart. He did it. He charged forward. He's got 22 charters now here in Dubai and all sorts of places. Multicultural Academy, they're up 131 kids since 2019. Many of them are MLs. So this is a reality. And so that's why at YCS, we are proud to be progressive. We are aiming to get those babies back. You didn't hear me say that. Okay. And here we are down the road. What are we looking at? We want fluent speakers and readers and writers. Oh my goodness. We've got lots of big plans. And if you, like you saw in that video, if you walk into one of these classes, it's like student engagement in a peaked manner. I mean, the kids are focused, they're challenged. That's the key here. They're challenged. They're using every part of that brain. Because when you're using more than one language, you're using more parts of your brain, to be honest. The cutest thing, and you saw that little girl up there, one of our principal's little girls, she goes, Marianne, I can't even take her to the grocery store because she's looking around for other people that speak Spanish. Because she's like, I'm special like you, and I want to try it out a little bit. That girl's going to be ready for the big world when it comes her way, won't it? Mm-hmm. It's a very fun thing to see. It's nothing better. Okay.
Okay, so what we always love to do, of course, is what we always aim to do is begin with the end in mind. And so what the goal is for as many students as possible to attain the seal of biliteracy. And you heard earlier the students that received the seal of biliteracy this evening. And we started that also back in 2021, I think it was. And so we want to equip as many students as possible with this. As I talked about earlier, it is a distinction from Michigan Department of Education, and the state superintendent sends a letter, all of that, and it validates and verifies that they are bilingual. And so the first year we granted the seal of biliteracy, there were 7 students that attained the seal of biliteracy, which was amazing. And then the second year, it was 15. The next year, it's 24. This year, it's 30. It just keeps growing. And so this program, and especially if we're in one space where we can really make this program all that it can be, that those numbers will soar. Okay. So that means we are charting the course ahead, and YCS really is blazing a path for students to be future ready when I listen to what those high school students are doing and what we're trying to do, what we are doing here and what we are creating here, it is exactly what our students need to be future ready. And we look at this Spanish immersion program as being a beacon of excellence and having all of our community of cultures thriving, and so that they can see that we value our diversity, we leverage it, and we equip students for the future.
Well, I tell you what, it has been a journey. Do you see little lady up there? That is her name, Lady Sua. She comes to us from Colombia. And, you know, we were just getting going with the company and we got her and we're so happy we have her. She flew in an airplane to Orlando, landed with her 2 little boys and her son, bought a car in Orlando, drove it on up here to Ypsilanti. The company helped them find a home, you know, to rent. The language team helped them find their furniture. And it was a ton of fun, and we just felt really blessed. So we also, as Sue was mentioning, we've already got 2 teachers secured from Mexico, and we're pretty excited about that. They're very eager to come. They want this extreme education adventure. It doesn't get, when I've done trips to other countries as a part of a teacher delegation, it is the best learning you can do. And that's how they're viewing it. You know, they're sharing into our culture and then we're getting the real thing. We just only have one problem. We just don't have enough space. Your turn.
So having the opportunity to transition the former middle school building site into the new Spanish immersion school would be revolutionary, strategic, and great for student recruitment. The building has only been empty 1 year, as we know, so it's in great shape, allowing a smooth transition into a new immersion school. This space would allow us to continue to accommodate the growth that we are seeing in the program, and it allows our program to have an identity and be able to call it a home away from home for the families and students. Oh, sorry, it's done. Okay, so as you can see, we have joy on this young student's face as she learns from our first grade teacher, Alma, who is unleashing the genius in this student and all of her students.
So we can and we have taken bold steps, visionary steps, to create something that has never existed in Washtenaw County before. And that is a powerful, powerful move to make. We could have that standalone Spanish immersion, dual language Spanish immersion program that is, as I said before, a beacon of excellence. And we have laid the foundation for this program. We have these students that are ready, and now we just envision and hope to build a house on that foundation.
Can't help it, sorry. I get excited about this stuff. So here we are, you know, these dynamics, it's increasing enrollment. I was never so pleased when I read an article and then I heard people talking about how we were the only district in Washtenaw County that increased enrollment this year. I mean, that's really something to celebrate. We had conversations with families that said, look, we were going to go to a charter. And then we heard about this, we switched up, we're here with you. We look forward to more of those kinds of things happening. Do you have any questions for us? And I'm sorry, we just love to talk. It's a big problem. We try to cut it down.
Vice President Lee.
I do have a couple of questions. Your presentation was wonderful. I know the dual language Spanish immersion program is wonderful. This presentation, it was telling me about the program. I already know about the program. What I wanted to know was, like, how many rooms you needed, what time the bus needs to come, how many teachers you needed to have. I see you need 2 kindergarten classes, 2 first grade classes. I needed to know what time the bell was going to ring. That's the kind of information I needed to know
Okay, so, and those are great questions. We have discussed that a little bit. We didn't have a final answer on whether this was going to happen, so we have done some brainstorming, but didn't have a final plan in place. We have talked about the 8:30 to 3:30 bell time. It is one of the, transportation has one of the fewest routes at that time, and so it would be one that might be able to be worked in a little bit more easily than one of the other times. We would need, we would have the 2 kindergarten and 2 first grade. Right now, we have we have 3 teachers of that grouping. We are looking to hire 1 more. And then second, third, and fourth, we have 1 teacher and we need to hire 2 others. So we have almost a little more than half of our staff that we would need. The curriculum would stay the same that we already have invested in. We would have to invest in, which I believe those numbers have already been turned in, for the 4th grade consumable, or the 4th grade, and then consumables for the other grades. We would, of course, need whatever staffing to make the building run in terms of food service and custodial service. So those would be things that obviously we would work out. We would need an administrator and a secretary, and we don't have answers at the moment on, what those
So
would be.
who would be working with them to get staffing in the building
So-
set up like that?
Thank you for your question. Until we know what the board would do, we can't make those decisions or get like busing that will go with transportation. We work with Annette Adams, the director, to see which tier it would go on and how that would be serviced. The staffing, they already have those teachers that they're mentioning, they're already dispersed in the building. So we'd be just pulling them in. And the only thing we're adding is the 4th grade, but we'll add that no matter if they go to one building or if they stay the same. So the teaching staff stays the same. The only thing that we need, the expansion, is an administrator, a secretary. And that would be the additional need. Because right now they're still being serviced in all the buildings. They're still getting social work, all the things that they get. They're still having it. It's just in different places. They would just all come together to that one building. So we'd be adding an administrator and a secretary.
Okay.
And we will work with them, but that's if the board, that's why we want to come now, because we need to know
How
to
move
start
forward.
planning.
Okay, because that's what I was looking for,
Oh,
in
yes.
the presentation. Yeah.
Hi, Trustee Espy, I have a question. I'm just curious how do things like the specials or special education services work? Are those educators also providing a dual language education in those spaces for those students?
So, really? Continue to look for those people. Right now, I would say that is not happening in the majority of the situations. Now, we have all had experience with the Academy of Americas down in Southwest Detroit, and they've been blessed to, after time, get more specials teachers who spoke Spanish because the word gets out, it's a network again. So yes, ideally, that's what we would like to see. And we do have a couple people, like the one art teacher who also speaks Spanish, we're kind of like,
Yeah.
So, yes, ideally, that would be perfect. But as we go through the years and there's more English, that kind of becomes a moot point. But
Yeah. Yeah, the upper grades is not as much of an issue, but with the lower kids, you want them to have as much Spanish as possible. So yes, there are a couple of, and I don't know how, obviously I have no idea how that would all work, but there is an art teacher that speaks some Spanish. And yes, I started my career at the Academy of the Americas, which is a dual language Spanish immersion program, and everybody in the building, like the gym teacher, the art teacher, everyone spoke Spanish. And so, that's something that, like she said, that's something that we would love. The other thing I thought about too is there are cafeteria staff that speak Spanish. I would love for there to be the cafeteria staff to be Spanish speaking, and so they could talk to them when they're coming to get their lunch and they're speaking to them all in Spanish. So that's a dream as well as part of all this.
A follow-up, I think, around that is thinking about the curriculum. Is there a greater integration of like information about like, for example, if you're talking about history or art, like Spanish-speaking historical figures or things like that, are you bringing in more of this like global perspective in terms of the curriculum as well?
we picked that curriculum. a lot of with the guidance of Dr. because he was quite familiar with it, and they use it at the academy, which we have great respect for. And yes, it's very multicultural, you know, and actually if a student decides to write a book and it's pretty decent, they will actually publish it and make it part of the collection. And so you get a real variety of types. I mean, it's very cool. Did I answer all of that?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited about it and I just want to like know more. So that's kind of where these questions are coming from. Not from a curiosity and excitement space. For
No, that is, and we really do love the American Reading Company is the main curriculum that we use. They do really good training, and it specifically is used in a lot of dual language Spanish immersion settings. So, yeah.
Trustee Sutton Kennedy.
My comment is more of a comment than a question. And so I just wanted to thank you all for your work behind the program. My daughter is in the program, as some of you may know, and I enjoy it. It's an amazing program. It's the reason why I chose YCS and why I'm happy that I did, because the last few years have been amazing to see what the program has to offer. That is actually my daughter's teacher and the student in her classroom right there, an amazing teacher. And it is just wonderful to see the things that she's been able to do. As you mentioned, you know, we're out and somebody might speak Spanish and my daughter responds and they're like, oh, I didn't know, you know, and it's just those little things like that. We get homework worksheets sent home, and those are in Spanish as well. And so, you know, here I am brushing up on my Spanish, like, okay, yes, but this one word, and it's just another chance for us to reinforce. It helps me to learn and to improve as well. And so I've just really enjoyed everything I've seen, and your support as well as administrators. And so I really enjoyed the program, and I just wanted to say that and share that story with y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love your daughter too. She's amazing.
Any other board questions or comments? Trustee Townsend?
What is the projected count for the students for the 25-26 year?
Well, Carlos, you probably have those numbers out, but I don't.
Right.
I know that our highest class right now is sitting at 28 in our grade. In Alma's classroom, ASA, she's from coming in. And then our kindergartners, because we split it up, they're sitting at about 18 in each classroom. And our second, so then, you know, so they would become first graders. That's why we need 2 first graders. And then our second and third are a little bit smaller just because we had some attrition with kids moving out of state. The good news is we get new Spanish speakers because we're YCS, and that's how we can keep building it up, right? And so that's around, you know, 17, 18. So we really want to, ideally, if we could get, you know, between 20, 25, that's our goal. And I do believe that's totally doable with enough space.
You do find with anything, of course, you're going to have some attrition. So the highest grades, those 3rd and 4th grades, they had, like she said, those classes are a little bit smaller, but now the word is out. People know about it. People have come and visited. They have siblings. So many, everybody that brings their kid, they have their sibling that comes in behind them. And so the lower grades are definitely more stacked with students. And when I look at the registration numbers, like the signups now, I mean, it's really increasing rapidly. So I would think that for kindergarten coming up, it would definitely be 25 each. That's what it looks like right now, for sure.
Yeah. 3rd grade, 1 class, then 4th grade, 1 class, 25, for a total of 175. Probably about 170. Yeah. 2nd grade, we went to about, yeah, people budget to people, and so they'll be
We can take triplets and they, you know, in a Spanish merchant out in Minnesota, and they came to us. Don was like, this is where we do.
Any other board questions or comments? I just want to thank you all for always coming with the energy, with the enthusiasm, with the commitment and dedication. I remember sitting and listening all those years ago, and to see from where we started to where we are now is nothing short of amazing. And that's a testament to the commitment that you all have made to grow, to cultivate, to nurture, and the belief that you have in what is possible. And so I am just grateful for your presentation today and for everything that you do every single day on behalf of our scholars. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, next that takes us to our first public comment section for this evening. And before I invite our member of the public to come up and address the board, I would like to read the public comment protocol, which reads as follows. The board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express their views. Please limit statements to 3 minutes in duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. No person may address or question board members individually. All remarks shall be made in a respectful and professional manner. I would like to invite up Sarah McNitt. Did I say that last name correctly? Okay. Thank you.
So that's our little Spanish immersion student to be. So we're here, again, we chose YCS and Ford, because of the opportunity for the Spanish immersion program. And so we're really excited to be here, in the district. I just wanted, we didn't know anything about the, potential move, because we're not quite in the program yet. He's a Young 5 student at Ford, and so he'll be entering next year. But I just wanted to raise the concern about what is the physical state of the Emmerich building right now. If it wasn't sufficient for the middle school, is it sufficient for kids to come in now? Are there renovation plans in place? I think about my son's school, and it's got bathrooms in every classroom for those, kindergartners and first graders who need bathroom facilities. And I think, a middle school, if it is still in the status that it was, it's going to look like a very different space. And so I just wanted to sort of raise that idea to the board as to see if that's something that has been a concern.
Thank you for your comment, Sarah McNitt. Next, we have Karen Gregory.
Hello, I'm here today because I have a sweet 6-year-old son who attends Ford Elementary. He has ADHD. On 4/8, he was assaulted by a staff member. I met with admin on 4/9, where they told me that they would investigate and get back to me. Moving forward today, I still haven't heard anything regarding the investigation. And also, I was told that the person who assaulted him was out of the building. Today, I went in to volunteer, and she walked past me 3 times with a smirk, brushing against my shoulder. And so I feel like, that's completely unacceptable. I graduated from Ypsi High, wanted my son to experience what I experienced, the great school that it is. I feel that I now can't send him back to finish out the 19 days because she's in the building, and I'm afraid that, something will happen to him. And I wanted to let the board know what was going on. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Karen Gregory. Next, that takes us to our consent agenda. And is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Sutton Kennedy, I move that the Board of Education approve the April 28th, 2025 special board workshop minutes. And number two, personnel matters as per the presented list dated 5/7/25. New hires, resignations, and terminations.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Sutton Kennedy. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Espy, support.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Espy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our first discussion item this evening, which is our first reading of the ESTA policies. And because this is our first reading of the policies, we will open up the floor for discussion for the board. We know that this information has already been shared with the board to review. And both trustee Sutton Kennedy and I will, and we might invite Ms. McCarty as well to join us to make sure that we're covering some of the key changes, which you can see in your board packet, or if you're using digital means to look at the package, you can see what those changes are that are recommended. So, board members, do you have any questions or comments about these policies that are coming before you on a first read?
Trustee Sutton Kennedy, can I add some
Yes.
additional context? So this is, if I'm understanding correctly, Sue, this was a new policy that we reviewed for a new law in response to a new law in Michigan. And then, so you'll see the policy as well as the hire notice that would be supplied to new employees in the district.
Thank you, trustee Sutton Kennedy. Ms. McCarty, is there anything that you would add in terms of highlighting some of the key changes that are coming before the board for consideration?
This point, just for anyone who is not in a collective bargaining agreement, once the collective bargaining agreements expire, then ESTA will be applicable to everybody. But right now, it's applicable only to those who are not in a bargaining unit. And it's basically kind of like in addition to FMLA and PMLA, where you get certain amount of hours of PTO. We suggested in the committee to do front loading, because front loading allows us to, give those up front based on the hours that you worked. And then you don't have to follow up and carry over. And you don't also have to calculate by employee every 30 hours, 1 hour for ESTA. So when you front load, it keeps it a little bit cleaner, gives people the time that they need, and then follows the new rule for ESTA.
Thank you, Ms. McCarty.
You're welcome.
I know that trustee Goodrich, who is the chair of our policy subcommittee, just noted that there were some small changes that were made, and I know we were waiting for our legal team to give us some guidance on language, which we have since received. Is that correct, Ms. McCarty? Sorry, I shouldn't have asked.
No, that's
you.
okay. No, that's all right. I should have mentioned it. The attorney is saying in the ESTA notice, we projected the $400 hours that you may work. That's a minimal amount. And based on the language that the attorney has put in here, the true law attorneys, it allows us the most flexibility for awarding the appropriate amount of ESTA hours. And it's that one portion that says, as a part-time employee, the district estimates that you will work approximately 400 hours during the ESTA benefit year, subject to the district's discretion and board policy, meaning given the flexibility for administration and the board in case they do not work those 400 hours, then the time would be prorated down, or if they work more, the time would be prorated up.
Thank you for those additional details. Board members, Do you have any comments, questions regarding the policy? Okay, seeing none, this will come back before the board for a second read. And then we will move to adopt, the changes, with this policy. Next, that takes us to our action item under business and finance, which is the acceptance of the Filter First District-wide Drinking Fountain Bottle Filler Award. Is there a motion at this time?
Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education approve the bid from Ken Cook in the amount of $290,180 to replace the drinking fountain bottle fillers throughout the district.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion?
Support trustee Townsend.
Supported by Trustee Townsend. Any questions or discussion on this item?
I do have a couple of questions. Is it possible that we'll be able to see the actual items for these amounts? Because I would like to see how did they come with these amounts, you know, what?
It's based off of the number of fountains that we are required to change. If you could remember on the, during the board workshop,
Right.
we have to by law
I
cap
remember,
off. And so it is for each one of the fillers.
I remember that.
And they,
And
I
I
don't know.
remember the workshop and I remember all that, but I just like to know, is it just replacing the fountains? That's gonna be that amount, you know, what? Like a itemized,
Yes, it's gonna be replacing the fountains, like the one out here, the bottle filler. The
mhm.
new one will have a filter cartridge in it and a light that comes on when it gets near the time to change. It will be yellow, and then when it's supposed to be changed, it'll be red. But we have to do it no matter what, or once a year from state law requirement, and we have to send off a sample testing of the water to the state to get tested also. And you're talking, you want like an itemized list of, we're going for 58 drinking fountains, and we're kind of anticipating we might have to change the valve on the bottom of the drinking fountain to accommodate the new drinking fountain because the valves are old, they haven't been shut off. And a couple of the buildings, we don't have electricity to them, like one at Ford, down at Shadford. There a couple down there that don't have electricity, and then the gym locker rooms don't have electricity, and the new drinking fountain take electricity. So that's including the labor for having an electrical company come in and the permit process and everything for the drinking fountains. We can,
I just, you know, we're responsible for the budget. And I would just like to see an itemized list. That's all. You know, it's just $290,000.
it's a lot, I understand.
It's a lot.
But the
And for drinking fountains, it's a lot. You know, and just to take out a drinking fountain and put one in.
we're required by the state to do.
I know we require it. I understand that. I remember the workshop. I understand that, but just to go on and approve something that just got this on the paper, you know, without having an itemized list, you know, why is it 290,000? You know, what did you do for 290,000? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So you're looking for somewhere where it would say we're replacing 58 drinking fountain. Each one would take X amount of labor to do.
You know,
got
what
10
costs,
electrical.
you know,
The
something that costs.
breakdown
Can
of
you-
cost.
Yes, you can show the bids, because
I
we had to
can
go
show
to bids. You
Bid,
can just
yeah.
show them.
I got bids. I can try to find them real quick and print off or give them to.
Yeah, something like that. Just a bid, you know, because if you got a bid, the bid will have, you know, what they have to do.
Right. But it was each school is unique in their situation, so.
Right.
All right, but
That's all I'm
I'll look.
saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and I can get that to you.
Thank you so much. Trustee Townsend?
So as a reminder to the board, when it was discussed, a large portion of this fund is coming from a grant
Correct.
that was actually secured by trustee Gainsley, former trustee Gainsley.
Mhm.
So I believe there's a small portion that we have to cover for the difference.
Yes, it's about
Um,
40.
Yeah, $40,000. So, but a large portion of this was secured by a grant. So
Mhm.
in actuality, we're just coming out of about $40,000.
That's true, but still, if you get audited, I want to make sure that I know what I'm signing and agreeing to. That's all I'm saying.
And so it sounds like what I hear is that you can maybe quickly pull some
The-
information that would maybe show some level of breakdown in terms of materials, labor,
Yes,
supply costs that would equate to
I
what is
can
going
try
to go
real quick.
into the 58 filters that are going to be replaced in our building. So all of that will be detailed and broken down.
yes, I can look real quick and see if I can find it for you guys. So give me about 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. Any other board question? So a motion has been made by Vice President Lee, supported by Trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the acceptance of the removal and replacement of the underground storage tanks award. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend moved that the Board of Education approve the bid from Mercer in the amount of $387,216 to remove the underground storage tanks and replace with above-ground storage tanks at Sampson Bus Garage.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Support trustee Espy?
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Espy. Any questions on this item?
The same thing. You know, it's just on paper. And there's no bid information. It's 3 bids here, but nothing showing the information about the bids. In the past, we did get the information about the bids. We did get copies of that. And I don't see that in here. That's all I'm saying.
Madam President?
Yes, is that Trustee Townsend? I'm not looking up. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Go ahead.
So is it, because the information is put in the board docs. So do you want a copy just to be, so that we clarifying? Because I want to make sure that it's understood that information is put in the board docs. So do you just want administration just to print out the actual bids for you?
In the past, I have gotten them.
Okay, so I think that's what the issue is, because I want to make sure people understand, because I'm the treasurer, that the information is shared in the board docs.
Mhm.
So, yes. So I think we just say if Julie could have, whoever wants copies of the bids to be printed, that they're printed, for the board member.
Mhm.
That's fine.
Is that what you would like, Vice President Lee?
Thank you, yes.
Okay. And thank you, Trustee Townsend, for reminding the board that a lot of the information that comes to the board has either been reviewed by subcommittee, and these particular items that we are considering tonight were also part of our board workshop. And so the detailed information we do have access to, but if we want paper copies or to be able to look at the detailed information in the bids, our administrators are happy to print that out for any of our board members. So thank you, Trustee Townsend, and thank you, Vice President Lee. Next, wait, before I say next, did we approve?
No.
No.
Thank you. A motion was made by Trustee Townsend and supported by Trustee Espy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the acceptance of the painting initiative of all school buildings Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education approve the bid from Energy and Building Performance KV Painting, Jote and Papa's Painting in the amount of $169,985 to paint all the school buildings in the district.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Townsend, support.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to get to the page. The acceptance of the decision to move the Spanish immersion program to the 510 Emmerich building. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Vice President Lee, move that the Board of Education accept the decision to relocate the Spanish immersion program to the 510 Emmerich building.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Vice President Lee. Is there support for this motion? Thank you. Supported by Trustee Sutton Kennedy. We know that this is a big decision and we appreciate the board. We appreciate the presentation this evening. It would be important for us to just record this by roll call. So Vice President Lee, could you perform the roll call, please?
Yes. Trustee Sutton Kennedy,
Aye.
Trustee Townsend,
Aye.
Trustee Epsy,
Aye.
Vice President Lee, I vote aye, and President Hawkins.
Aye. That motion passes unanimously with 5 Board of Education members voting yes. Congratulations. It's going to be a big move.
Madam President,
Yes,
just
Trustee
can I make
Townsend.
one comment?
Of
I
course.
just want to make sure that the communication with parents and that they have a clear understanding what the plan is. It wasn't just a decision
Yes.
to just move. There is thought in all of the process, especially if we're
Mhm.
doing changes or whatever we have to do for our youngest scholars.
Yes.
So we just want to make sure parents are assured that
Mhm.
we're intentional about whatever we do and we have those things in mind.
Thank you, Trustee Townsend. That's a very important comment. And while members of the public, our parents, our community members may not be aware of the due diligence that we perform as a board in looking through, asking questions at our board workshop, at the board table, information we receive from our administration is important to signal and let the community know what all went into considering and approving this decision. I was going to invite Dr. Zachary Ross at the end of the board meeting when it's time for her comments to not only speak to that, but also to just make a few comments regarding the condition of the building, because I think that's important as well. And I know that members who address the board of the public are here, and I think it's important for us to make sure we don't address when people come up for public comment. That's just part of our standard. But I think it's important that as a board and as a district that we make sure information about condition of buildings and making sure we are dotting i's, crossing t's, and making sure that we are ensuring that our spaces are ready for our scholars, no matter where they are in the district. And so, Dr. Zachary Ross, if you don't mind, at the end of the board meeting to speak to that. Okay, thank you. Next, that takes us to our Washtenaw ISD budget resolution. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend moved that the Board of Education adopts the WISD budget resolution.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Support, Trustee Espy.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Espy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to the adoption of a resolution designating the district's election representative. I know the board has received information on who the candidates are. As a board, we can discuss briefly who we want to put our support behind in terms of those candidates. And once we reach a consensus, we will take a motion to read who those candidates are. Is there, I'll open the floor up for discussion among the board. So we have two candidates who are going up for two 6-year terms. And there are 3 candidates listed. 3 of those 3 candidates are from Ann Arbor Public Schools, and we have 1 candidate for a 2-year term. So we are charged tonight with selecting who we want to support this evening. So the floor is open. So all in all, we are selecting 3 candidates, 2 for 2 6-year terms and 1 for a 2-year term.
So are we, saying who we want?
Yes.
Okay. I've had the pleasure of, for the last, I don't know how long I've been here now. Since 2021, well, 2022. For working with the WASB, and the members that are currently serving in the WISD board capacity. I am in support of Mary Jane Trementine, Diane Hockett, and then Dorcas Musili. They have all been consistent. They show up whenever you need them. They're always willing to work, and they have shown a commitment to the community as a whole. And I know Mary Jane has been on the board for at least 30 years or 20 to plus years. Diane Hockett has served in the capacity of president, and Dorcas Mussolini, she just was appointed last year, but she has also shown great tenacity and the willingness to serve our most vulnerable students. And so those are the 3 that I would like to see renewed in those spaces.
Thank you, Trustee Townsend. I would say I would support what Trustee Townsend said. I haven't been serving on this board for a lot of years now. Very familiar with Mary Jane and Diane, who have served for many, many years and served this community well on the WISD board. And Dorcas, who was our representative from Ypsilanti. All of these members are incumbents, and they have shown their commitment and their dedication to the students in Washtenaw County. So I would agree and support everything that Trustee Townsend has said.
I'm familiar with Mary Jane and Diane. I'm sorry to say I'm not familiar with Dorcas, but I do know Eric. He did come to the meeting also and introduced himself. But I will go along with Dorcas, if that's what the board chooses.
Yep, so we'll be choosing 2 candidates for the 6-year term and then the 1 candidate for the 2-year term. Yep. Thank you, Vice President Lee. Any other board comments?
I just want to name, while I'm in support of what Trustee Townsend has offered in supporting Mary Jane Trementine and Diane Hockett, I do want to name that Eric John Roberts has approached us as a board and came to our meeting and has sent out a number of communications, and I have appreciated his engagement and presence. And And at the same time, I am valuing the consistency that has come from these incumbents. And so that's why I want to move forward with supporting Mary Jane and Diane.
Thank you, trustee Espy.
Trustee Sun Kennedy, also wanted to, say that I also agree with what was shared by trustee Townsend. I've had the pleasure of, meeting and having some conversations with Diane Hockett, and have, heard some great things about, her support of our schools, in the area through her service with WISD and also, Dorcas, during one of our trainings. So, I agree with what was said, and I support the three candidates that were mentioned as being supported here today.
Okay, any other discussion? So board members, I will bring your attention to the motion, and the only slight change to the motion is that we want to make sure we have all three candidates included in that motion. So I'm going to read the motion, and I normally know that other board members read the motion, but I will read the motion. And Vice President Lee, if you can ask for support of that motion.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I move that the Board of Education adopts the designated representative and alternate the designated representative and alternate who are directed to cast a vote on at least the first ballot on behalf of this board for Diane Hockett for the 6-year term, and Mary Jane, help me with her last name. Tremontine, thank you. Tremontine, who will be the second 6-year candidate, and Dorcas Musili for the 2-year term. Yes. I had to read a different one because the way the motion, that's why I was prefacing that I was changing because we don't have the lines here that we need to make sure we capture all the candidates. Yep. So I just changed it so that, you want me to reread it?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm fine. I just.
Wanted to
I
make
had-
sure.
yeah,
Got it.
just to
Okay.
make sure I wouldn't.
Okay. So the motion has been read.
And there's support.
Trustee Townsend support.
So the motion was made by President Hawkins and it was supported by Trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Thank you to whoever is casting these votes, because I have forgotten who agreed to do that heavy work. Thank you, Trustee Espy.
Okay.
You have your marching orders. All right, excellent. Okay, next that takes us to our CTE millage resolution. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Espy, I move that the Board of Education adopt the CTE millage resolution.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Espy. Is there support for this motion?
Support trustee Sutton Kennedy.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Sutton Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our second public comment section for this evening. Ms. Haynes, did any cards come in? Thank you. I would like to invite up Jeremy Haley.
Good evening, trustees and superintendent.
Good evening.
First, I'd like to say I heard that, this is Ypsilanti Community Schools, but that the Dexter Community Schools just approved a $240 million bond to improve their schools. There's an example here. My daughter graduated from those schools, and in that school system, in the high school, I asked her, did you guys have like a wood shop, metal shop, any kind of shop for people, kids? When they built this high school, they neglected all those things. This bond that they just approved is so they can do some of those things for the high school now. There's an example, when you go ahead and do things, you have to really look into the future as to how it might affect the kids. Not 5 years from the road, 10 years, 10, 15, 20, 30 years out, because now they're backpedaling with pie on their face and going, oh, we're going to build all this stuff now because the kids need it. So that's an example on that one. I'm kind of laughing because you guys knew you should have done it, but you didn't. And the other thing I was like to talk about is, I don't know if you've had a chance, I know you're probably all pretty busy, to go out and see a movie lately in the last couple months or so. And they put commercials in front of the movies now. And one of the commercials shows a woman going in for a job, telling the guy at a hotel, saying, I have 10 years experience. And the guy was like, well, I noticed on your app that you didn't fill out the thing for degree. We require a college degree. And she's like, well, what kind of college degree? And she just started rambling off college degrees. And he's like, yeah, any of those will work. And she was like, well, what's your degree in? I think I was like, dance. Basically making a mockery of people just requiring degrees for people who have, that obvious experience, but not. And it brings me to, that was a cultural moment that was being shown in front of movies. Kids, people were seeing that all over the country. That was put on by Indeed.com. I don't have a college degree myself. My neck was broken in an automobile accident before I had a handful of classes to finish, so I've never done. But I don't consider myself any less than anybody who has a college degree. And the problem is, pushing college degrees affects people because it makes certain other people feel like, hey, if they work at Speedway and they're that gas attendant there, they're less than the people who do. They're not. They're people. Okay? And when you're pushing school, not every kid's going to make it. I went to school. In the last year of my neck got broke. I wasn't able to finish. I'm not bitter. It's just the way things are. And I accepted it. And as you go through teaching the kids, can you possibly, nobody taught me how to handle that situation. Life throws you curveballs. How will you handle that as in pushing to all the success, but when that failure comes, have you taught them how to handle that? Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy Haley, for your comments. Next, that takes us to our Board of Education Subcommittee reports. Are there any subcommittee reports at this time? I know that at our workshop, which was a couple of weeks ago, board members reported out on and updated us on what was going on within subcommittees and liaison roles that they hold. If there is anything that the board wishes to add to what was already said a couple of weeks ago, feel free.
I have one, Trustee Sutton Kennedy. Next Monday, 7:30 a.m. at the WISD, we'll have our legislative breakfast. So that would be for the LRN committee, and that is Monday, May 19th, 7:30 a.m. at the WISD building, if anyone is interested in coming.
Thank you, Trustee Sutton Kennedy.
I have to contact Daniel because he scheduled it for the YCS preschool policy meeting for the 22nd. And that's the graduation date. So I have to contact him and see what we're going to do about that. And I also have to reach out to Dr. Lopez because he rescheduled our strategic meeting for the 20th.
Okay.
No, Maria.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you, Vice President Lee. Any other subcommittee reports? All right, seeing none, that takes us right to Board Superintendent comments. Any comments from the board?
I would just like to thank all of the board members, and Superintendent Zachary Ross for participating in the, WASB and Superintendent, what is the Board of the Superintendent?
WSA.
Yeah, yep. SA. For the, town hall that we had on,
Mhm.
funding for special education and just overall funding, changes that were taking place. It was very informative. A lot of, information was shared. We will reshare it out when you're doing your advocacy to all of our leaders and things like that, that they at least have concrete information about how much the funding, changes could affect, Washtenaw County as a whole. So I would like to just thank everybody that served on the panel. We even had our state superintendent, Dr. Pamela Pugh, Jazz Parks, the superintendent for Ann Arbor Public Schools, Naomi Norman, WISD superintendent, Representative Jimmy Wilson, and State Senator Jeff Irwin. They did an excellent job, and I'm just, excited that we're continuing to advocate collaboratively. Also, I just want to thank the board. We got 19 days left. Hallelujah. Just for this has been another extraordinary year. We've made some very great strides in diversifying what we offer here at the school district. We are adequately pushing education, and I really just quality education. Whether you go to college, whether you get a trade, whether you decide to go to the military, we're trying to do what is in best for each individual student. And we have been committed to being intentional about that. And I'm just appreciative that we're sticking to our plan. We know our students, we know what our community needs. And I just think I'm looking forward to the upcoming year and graduation. It's an exciting year, the valedictorian. I have known her since birth.
Wow.
And she's my Bible school baby. Some of the babies here tonight that got awards that spoke, they are part of my personal life. So I'm just excited of what we're continuing to do and produce as a legacy for this district. So just thank you all for your work.
Thank you, Trustee Townsend. Other board comments?
Trustee Espy, I had the pleasure and opportunity to attend the high school's transition day, signing day, award ceremony for their graduating seniors. It is incredibly inspiring to see the efforts they have put in, and I really appreciate too that incorporates the 11th graders as well, so that they see where they can go and what they can aspire to. And I just appreciate that that time is celebrated for them. And I am excited to see this ongoing for the future. So thank you for hosting that event. I also appreciated the work of the WISD, the session, the town hall. I've heard from a number of folks, including a write-up in the news about how it was a valuable space, and it allowed for folks to join in coalition and be in support of each other, as opposed to a space where folks were trying to knock others down. So just wanted to offer that. Looking forward to celebrating graduation and all the other upcoming events that are filling our May calendar, including the Grizzly Awards, which will cap it off on the 29th.
Thank you, Trustee Espy. Trustee Sutton Kennedy.
I had the pleasure of attending the MEJC Advocacy Day. I think it was April 29th. So we went up to Lansing and we met with some legislators who made themselves available to advocate for funding for special education 31A and 31AA funding. And so that was a great opportunity to learn more about advocating and to do a little bit of that for our districts and some other districts as well. I also attended the MASB advocacy skills behind the scenes at the Capitol workshop. That one was last week, I believe, on Tuesday, where it was a similar thing, except during that session, they had the legislators come and do a panel. So we had one senator and two representatives talking about what was happening in the Senate and in the House in our state. Our administration here is so good that in our board updates, most of the things that were discussed there and shared were already included there. So I don't think there's anything in my notes here to share. I think the cell phone bill that possibly is coming was also mentioned in our board updates this week. So yeah, I think everything that was shared, information that I learned about the Senate proposed bill and the House was still working on theirs at the time, has already been shared by our lovely administration here. So I don't have anything to add there, but those were some good opportunities to learn more about advocating in Lansing. And then I had the privilege of attending the choir event for the high school and middle school. So we got to see a little bit of that today. And it was really nice to see them singing together. And then also to see the talent that is in our high school and our middle school as well. And the kids did an amazing job, and the energy was just as amazing as it was today here in this room. So I'm happy that everyone got a chance to experience that as well. Great job at the town hall. It was a great experience, and I also heard great things about it from the parents that are in my circle as well. And so I just wanted to share that. And to say thank you everyone for being here. Thank you all for being here. Yeah.
Thank you, Trustee Sutton Kennedy. And I would only add to that, I would echo a lot of what has already been said, and just wanted to give a shout out to Trustee Townsend for doing such an excellent job facilitating and serving as the moderator at that town hall event. That was informative, funny. There were lots of things that Trustee Townsend brought to that facilitation role that lightened the mood, because it was a lot of heavy information that we had to kind of digest. So I just wanted to give that shout out to not just the facilitation, but also the vision and the foresight to bring something like this together when we know we are really, really grappling with some very uncertain times. So it was good to hear from everyone who was part of that panel, and our very own Dr. Elena Zachary Ross, who was among them. I also wanted to just mention two other things. One, the board is aware that I participated in the MASB workshop held in Mackinac a week ago. It was cold, but then it warmed up a little bit. So it was really a nice workshop to be a part of. I participated in a three-part board president's workshop. And also there was the keynote was about AI. And so I just sat there thinking, like, hearing the conversations at the table from other board members about where they were in terms of AI. And I just kept talking about how we have leaned all the way in. Like, we are like AI, we get the playground message every Monday. And districts were amazed. And I was even bragging and showing the article that you shared with us about being featured, talking about AI and just being kind of on the cutting edge of that work. And so I know that people are on different ends of the spectrum about where their comfort level is with AI. But to Trustee Townsend's point earlier, I'm just so proud to be part of a district that is risk taking, that continues to break barriers and continues to make changes. And we do it unapologetically. We do it bold, and we see the fruits of that labor. And so I am just really, really proud to serve in this community and to know also that we offer so many pathways for our students to possibilities. Right? No matter what you want to do, we have possibilities and they are endless, it feels like, for our students. So it's really, really humbling, and it's an honor to be able to sit in this seat and to have the trust of this community and the confidence of this community and this district to be part of leading this work. So I just thank our educators who get up every day and they do such amazing work with our scholars in this district. I know we're at the end, and the end can feel like it's not in sight, but it is in sight. So I just appreciate this push that all of our educators are making to make sure that we end strong in the same way that we started. Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I just want to again thank all of you for your service and the work that you put in, because we did just have that board workshop, and I know that people are wondering about, okay, how do they make these decisions? And just to remind you, but in front of the community, we're really grateful for the funds that we were able to receive from the PA 321 monies. We paid down the taxes, we paid down the bond, and the monies today for the painting, for a lot of this work that's coming forward. I just want to remind everyone that's from those funds. And so we're grateful that the board, you had the resolution December 2023, we got that notice, and then you had 2 resolutions, and you're moving forward, as Trustee Townsend talked about, staying the course. And so you're moving forward with that work that you had approved, that we submitted to Treasury. And so now we're able to do the work and be reimbursed for that work. So again, I just want to thank you. Also, as we look towards the buildings moving forward with the immersion, a dual language immersion program, I know that you spend a lot of time in the workshop on that as well, listening to the facilities portion, and now hearing from the amazing group of staff members who kind of have placed the vision forward. And part of that context of the workshop, we did talk about the building and the fact that part of when the community came, the multilingual community came to the administration. John, thank you, John, for your work. Went through the building, walked the building. We already know right now it's been only closed a year. It was closed just because we wanted to add for the IB. So last year you all took on the International Baccalaureate program for the middle school. And so being able to move the middle school, you made that decision because it gave us more wings. They got an additional gym. They have access now to the swimming pool. And so we are able to also add the IB program in the 4th wing, so that we could have access to that. And there was a lot of work that had to be done to make sure, because that building had been closed for several years, as well as the ISD had to be in there. So we did all of those things. For the middle school, we're very fortunate that there have been already updates happening with the millage. We've been able, and the sinking fund, been able to add the roof and do all the updates to that building. So there's going to be minimal changes that need to be made. To make it an elementary, if you could recall, John Birchwell brought on that we'd have to definitely look at the bathrooms. One of the things that we note is that not all schools have the bathrooms in the classroom. We saw this year, right now, Ford, we just had this experience. We only could use half of the building. And so we reminded for the restrooms because of the the piping situation. And so we've had that experience. Our teachers are experienced with not necessarily having bathrooms in every classroom at that younger age. And so Mr. Birchwell has already put in that proposal that you originally saw from him. Part of that 500,000 was about restrooms and rebuilding the multi-stalls bathrooms so that it is focused on our most young scholars. We also had to do that, if you can recall, when the ISD, that's part of why we changed the bathrooms before, when ISD was in our current middle school. So this is something that the district has done before. And we used that building at that time for younger students as well as students with special needs. So Mr. Birchwell has had that experience. We've seen how it worked in that situation with actual students in there. So we know that that's certainly a conducive space. And so there's also more room, as the multilingual department talked about, for them to collaborate. Right now, they have no space for our teachers to collaborate, our scholars. So there's going to be open spaces where the students can learn and collaborate even more so in that building. So it's actually more conducive for them because they will have their own space. They'll be able to have gathering times together. The bathrooms will be redone. We have been, as we've been putting the equipment in, it already has the BenQ boards, it already has the technology, everything has been updated. So we're fortunate because we have to use that building for educational space. We moved our special services department in there with even the younger folks in there, and early on uses it right now. And so we've seen them in that current space and can see them really collaborating and cohabitating together in that building. And so we'll be working with together as administration, our union presidents right there, our union, to make sure that we work to make sure it's a space not only for welcoming for the scholars. And if you could recall, part of it, we talked about the families, because in that dual language immersion program, there's a lot of family events. So we're able to, again, house it safer because it can be in a different space, not taking over the media center like we do right now. And so it'd be actually more conducive. So I thank the board for that consideration, and we will, as the board has expressed, and that was a huge piece of communicating. And we talked about during the workshop that this multilingual team contacts the families diligently already. And so they are ready and have said if the board voted, that they're going to be making sure that the families are communicated with, that they're working hand in hand so that this all can be explained, as well as communicating all the processes. So thank you for that. In terms of just quick announcement, because today the YCHS showcase was amazing. The scholars and their the projects, not just the seniors, the projects were truly unbelievable. And I know Trustee Goodrich was able to attend, and others have walked through there, but to really see our scholars with those projects just made them come to life. They worked with groups, and as Trustee Townsend, you said, there's such a variety, from the drones for the new 2 teams that are competing. They were there, to composting students, to students in our culinary, all the programs, and it was just amazing. As well as we had the groundbreaking today for the infant and toddler playground at Beatty.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, we went there for the conversation and the planning, but to see it, I was just astounded. There's pictures, a press release is going out, already went out. So you'll be able to see pictures too if you weren't able to attend. But somebody from the council was there, and the ISD and Representative Wilson attended and spoke, as well as yes, but I can't think of his Morgan.
Oh, okay.
Morgan was there. And so it was truly, the students, the scholars were playing on it during the whole ceremony. And so just to watch them, it was the early Head Start ones, just so little on there, and it just amazing. So I just appreciate the WISD's partnership and that support of that, their own designated space. There's a lot of opportunities to attend lots of things. The Ford is having their STEAM night on the 15th, and then that's their coffee conversation. Erickson Elementary is having their leadership day on Wednesday, May 21st, and that's when all the Leader and Me students take you around and you see their projects. So that's going to be amazing at Erickson. Beatty is having a May Dadness, so and bring in the dads to the building on the 21st. We're having a World Culture Day at Ford also on the 21st. Estabrook is having their book release party. So last week, they were at UMA at the University of Michigan Arts Museum. They're going to now then take their books and release them, all the third grade students. So the third graders across the district participated, but they're going to have their own book releases. So that's going to be exciting.
Love it.
We know the biggest thing is May 22nd is the commencement ceremony. And we want to again thank our educators, because we know our commencement could not happen without the powerful educators in our district. So I just wanted to make sure I got to that point to thank to thank them because you saw them today. They're just amazing. And I want to also say that 100% of this year's graduates. Now the cohort is always the one that they show up on the news. They might not be students that track with us, but the students who are attending with us, all 100% of them met their graduation requirements. 100% of them. So they do, and they're going to all different places, from jobs to the armed forces and military to two-year colleges and 4-year. And you saw it at the award ceremony. They scholarship. We're excited. Then there's field days coming up that you can go out and see. Y-High graduation on May 28th. And we always have people always look at that and say, well, most of the scholars every year are Ypsilanti Community Schools scholars. And so folks see that last year we had 94 of the 108. So this year there will be just as many, and they're all Ypsilanti Community Schools scholars from the Y-High graduation on May 28th. So we're excited about that. So many end of the year. There's a preschool end of the year ceremony on May 30th. The 8th grade promotion is also on May 30th. So there's all the events, they're in there, but we just thank all of our scholars for the work and that they put in throughout the year. We thank our educators for their leadership and support. And we thank our parents and community for trusting us with their scholars.
Thank you, Dr. Zachary Ross. Two quick things that I forgot to mention. One, I know it's only May, but just as the board, you're thinking about your calendars. We know, just a reminder that we have our retreat coming up in August. And we will also have our mid-monitoring session also in August. So more details will come out about that, but it'll be early August. So just to kind of have some placeholders, but we will send information out about that. I also wanted to mention that I'll send this out to the board as well, that I think it would be really helpful for us as a board to consider participating in a workshop similar to True Colors. I don't know if you all have done the True Colors personality. This one is specific to boards and understanding leadership styles. And because we have new members on the team, I thought it might be a good idea for us to kind of participate in a workshop like that. So it'll be for your consideration. We would have someone come here if the board is interested in that. And then lastly, I just want to say again how proud I am to be part of this, live in this community and be part of this district, and to see so many innovative things happening. And I know that the lift is going to be heavy this summer right? To move a program to a new building it's a lot.
And so I want to thank Mr. Birchwell for your leadership because I know it's a lot. And I thank the dedicated, committed staff who are going to make it happen, even if that means sacrificing some extra vacation time that you had planned. It's a lot, but I know it will be well worth it. So we just have a lot of exciting things that are happening between now and the end of the school year, and I just look forward to it all. And I just thank this board for their leadership and their support and their engagement in the community. And Trustee Sutton Kennedy and Trustee Espy, you have two resources, compliments of Miss Haynes, who ordered those for you both to have. So when I was at the workshop, I was like, do they have this? Let me reach out. I'm like, let's order it. So enjoy, in your spare time, right? Yes, indeed. So that's all I wanted to add because I forgot to mention that. And just thank everyone in the district for continuing to do such great work. And so proud of our scholars who every day continue to amaze us.
I forgot 2 events. Can I throw those in too?
Of course.
We have a Spanish immersion program parent meeting actually scheduled for tomorrow at
Well,
6:30 p.m. So at that meeting, the Spanish immersion program leaders are planning to talk to parents about what to expect next year with the program. And also we have our first Spanish immersion parent group meeting 2 weeks later on the 27th at 5:30 p.m. So we have 2 opportunities to talk with our parents in person and online over the next few weeks.
Thank you for sharing that, Trustee Sutton Kennedy. Anything else before we adjourn? We're good? Are we complete? The time is 9:22. This regular Board of Education